Another foiled assassination attempt on President Trump's life. How many do we have now? A baker's dozen. I guess you get a discount after 12. President Trump has been shot in the head. He's had deer stands disassembled right where he exits his plane. I mean, we forget about these kind of things, right? The guy who stormed Mar-a-Lago with the shotgun, it's like a one-day news cycle, and then it disappears. A man just stormed with a firearm President Trump's speech at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. F-16 jets scrambled to deploy flares as a plane buzzed Palm Beach Airport, where President Trump was supposed to get on his flight. I mean, you lose count of these kind of things. Trump motorcade rerouted after a suspicious device discovered by Secret Service near Florida Airport. They found something that could have been an explosive laying in the road that Trump was to travel. Again, we completely forget about all of this and that President Trump had to move the inauguration indoors because of drone threats. And that's what we're facing here at the White House. There was obviously a massive outdoor octagon, and there was a massive plot that was disrupted to have hundreds of explosive drones swarm the claw, is what it's called, that sat over the octagon at the White House. And you can see here, of course, it's all outdoors. I was there. It was very exposed, I guess you could just say. There's virtually nothing, there's virtually nothing that would have prevented some type of attack because you're completely outdoors. The entire Trump family was there. Many major dignitaries. The Pope's brother, was there. Many, famous rappers, tech moguls, billionaires. Here's Mark Zuckerberg with President Trump having a grand old time. Look at that. Ladies and gentlemen, this is bad. Let's go ahead and check in on Kash Patel was there. I actually said hello to Kash Patel while, he was there. He was seated not too far from me. And he didn't mention this, but here we go. On June 10th, the FBI and our law enforcement partners became aware of a potential threat to the UFC America 250 event in Washington, D.C. Individuals outside of the capital region, thanks to the rapid response of the FBI and our partners, we have them in custody. They were stopped cold. The result represented the best of investigative work. It's also noting that ordinary law enforcement team, we were built to detect, respond, and bring justice. So what was going on here? There was a team based out of California of terrorists that were going to use explosive-laden drones to hit the buildings near the event, force a mass evacuation, steer the crowd towards a pre-staged sniper team, officials said. A second wave was then allegedly planned to storm the White House gate, according to officials. Whoa. It could have been very bloody and really, really bad. Let's go.
Interrupting this alleged plot targeting the UFC Freedom 250 event at the White House. Officials telling Fox a network of nearly 24 potential plotters were identified, with at least 5 people in custody right now. The suspects allegedly traveled to Fredericksburg, Virginia, to make final preparations for the attack. And the alleged plan allegedly included explosive-packed drones hitting buildings near the event, forcing a mass evacuation, and then steering crowds, get this, toward a pre-staged sniper team. A second wave was then planned to storm the White House gate. The FBI...
I was at the White House. I was there. Obviously the place was locked down, but so much of this is open air, and there was a UFC Freedom Festival across the street that had tens of thousands of people that were completely exposed. You can see obviously here the setup is, well, there is no cover for anyone. And you had the Secretary of War there, the Secretary of State, the Vice President was there. The entire administration was gathered outdoors, where you could really have disrupted people. You could really have killed, like mass slaughtered lots of people. Check this out. Here's from the actual filing. You can see the weaponry. You can see the text messages. You can see the data. Let's go ahead and read here from Bill Maluzhin. Details from the federal arrest affidavit that reveal a California man, Michael Allen Thomas, one of the alleged organizers, UFC White House terror plot. Feds say he admitted he believed the U.S. government is run by elites who sacrifice and eat children, had involvement with Jeffrey Epstein, and are protected by Trump. Oh, well, there you go. Is indistinguishable now if you're dealing with somebody from a Hassan Piker Twitch chat or Thomas Massey. That's how disgusting these people have become. And also how subservient they are to narratives that have no founding in reality. There are a lot of people who are implicated in the Jeffrey Epstein documents. There's not one scintilla, not one thread, not one single data point that shows that President Trump did anything other than rat out Jeffrey Epstein to the authorities, rat out his operation to the Palm Beach police, never engaged in anything untoward or illegal with Jeffrey Epstein, kicked him out of his club. I mean, the evidence is all there. They have weaponized and turned this into an op. This is when Trump says it's hoax. This is what he's talking about. And now this is like the second person, the guy who stormed Mar-a-Lago with a shotgun and a can of gasoline, second person who's like, Donald Trump eats children. Donald Trump's got like 50 grandkids, okay? Donald Trump is a man who protects children and did everything that he could to make sure that Jeffrey Epstein met his end in prison. Investigators took screenshots of his signal chats in which the details of the plot were discussed. Maps of the UFC event were drawn. Feds recovered rifles and ammo, and they're in custody, American citizens. There's no foreign nexus believed at this time. Correction, phone and weapon and photos are from a separate defendant, 19-year-old man, Ohio man. They spent $3,000 of his graduation money to purchase lots of ammunition, guns, extra magazines for the attack. He quit his job to meet up with people to conduct missions and recon. They were going to then use these firearms in order to mow down people after there was a stampede. And it wasn't just the claw at the White House. Of course, across the street, there were tens of thousands of people that were gathered for UFC Fan Fest that weren't in the actual Octagon event. Perhaps that would have been the attack vector. Man, feds say that his mother made the initial call to the police when she became concerned about the activities, and the wider plot was uncovered. Were you briefed on the terror attack, President Trump? No, the only attack I watched were the fighters.
I haven't heard about it, no. But I watched, the attack that I watched were the fighters. And he saw it too, by the way. He was sitting back home in his beautiful palace and he was watching that.
President Trump taking it in stride, as he does. Yeah, this would have been really bad. Technology is evolving on weeks, monthly cycles now, weekly, monthly cycles. It's very difficult to defeat. Goodness. And they did it without FISA. There you go. Stopped cold. 23-person drone and sniper plot to massacre people at UFC 5 in custody. Goodness. They did say that this was a no drone zone. This is from before the event. Attention residents and visitors. DC is a no drone zone. If you're heading to the National Mall today, leave your drone at home and report unauthorized activity. That's right. President Trump talking about the drone-proof roof now at the White House they have to build. Yep. There you go. They mapped out events. Very, very scary stuff. J.D. Vance responding to this on Fox News this morning, saying 23 people do not get to the point where they're going to go commit terror without some serious funding and some serious coordination. And Vance is discussing how the left is increasingly resorting to violence. And this could have been really bad. So thank God for law enforcement and those who protected us at this event. If there was a place to strike or to commit terror, this would have been it. And I'm very thankful, not just because I was able, but I'm very thankful. This is how it would have been horrific for our nation. Please be vigilant out there and pray for peace and security. The left isn't going to lose power without being violent. They do this in every single country where we take power away from them. It's exactly why we must take their power away. This style of behavior, do you think it's going to get better when they're in power? No way. It's going to get far worse. So, ladies and gentlemen, keep fighting. Keep praying. It's your boy Benny. We're going to win. Patriots in control. See you.